Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, yesterday we were continuing our little series of custom built Divi hover effects, and we had this image. When you hover over it, pops up to a person module with a little round image there and some social medias. Next door to it, we got the opposite. We just flipped the filters around to do the opposite. If you want to learn how to do this, check out yesterday's video. I'll put the link below this video. But we had a question on that video, and it said, is there a way to blur or fade the rounded area of the picture into the background rather than the sharp edges? I'm guessing the sharp edges are these edges here. So I've done an example below where we've got a sort of faded into the background image of the lady. Does the same thing when we hover over it. And then below that I've got another example of a round image. When we hover over it, it's going to bring up the content. When we get off, it's going to do the thing. So I hope those two options are going to answer your questions today. So let's get started. They're pretty easy to do. Slight bit of coding on the second one, but the first one is just plain Divi module manipulation. So let's enable the visual builder. And what I'm going to do is I'll just clone this row here. So we've got the same thing underneath. I'll give it a little bit more space. Okay, so let's make this into this one right here. Now, to do this today, you've got to remember the image that we're looking at there is actually in the column of the row. So that's what we got to work on. Everything else can stay the same. So let's go into our row, the green tab. We're working on column 1, 2, and 3 over there. Go down to our background. Well, here's our image. That's great. But we want to make it round and sort of blur it into our white background here. So to do this today, I'm going to use a gradient. So I'm going to add a background gradient. I'm going to make it radial, which will make it into a bit of a circle there. Now the first color, this one, I want totally transparent. So I'm going to take my little transparency slider all the way down. So basically that's just going to be a transparent section. And the second one, I want the same color as our background, which is white. So we've got a radial gradient going on there. Now let's blend it with our picture. So let's go to our picture, the next one over here. That's where our image resides. If we roll down a bit, we've got some blend options. And the one I'm going to use this one today is color dodge. As you can see, that's put that radial gradient over our image there. It's not quite the effect that we want, but we can go back to the gradient and tweak it and get it how we actually want it. So let's go into our gradient again. And let's move the start position up so it clears up the middle of the picture there. Something like that. Obviously you make yours however you want. And the end position, let's bring it down so it blurs out the corners of our image. As you can see, it's starting to blur them out there. Something like that works pretty well for me. I want to bring that up just a little bit. Obviously you make yours however you want yours. I'm going to keep mine just about like that. So she's there, but we've got the sort of faded out blur effect. Okay, save your changes and that's it. That should work. We don't need to change anything else. There's that sort of blurred out edges. Okay, well, let's copy this one again. Just hit the two little squares to clone it there, and we'll do the circular one. And again, I'll give it a little bit more space here. Okay, and for this one, we need to go into our column again. So that's still in our row, column number 1 right here. And I've got to write a little bit of CSS for this today. And what we're going to do, we're going to go over to Advanced, to Custom CSS. In the main element right here, I'm going to say border radius. And I'm going to get 50%, which should make it round. It's not quite round, so we need to add a little bit of height to that. So let's do a semicolon. We'll give it a fixed height. I happen to know that image is 300. You may have to guess and put a few heights in until you're comfortable with it being round. I'm going to try 300 pixels. Yeah, that makes that round, which is great. Just put a semicolon on the end of that. Okay, but we're going to have a slight problem, I think. Let's just save this and save our row. Yeah, when I hover over it, you've got that little bit of spillage on the bottom there. So we can add a little bit more padding to the module to cover that up, or we can take the image away. So let's do this. We'll go back into our row. We'll go back into that column. Back into that column. Into the background, and we'll set a hover state. Common to most Divi modules, you hover over the dark writing, it'll pop up with these icons here. If they've got an arrow, you can set a hover state when your mouse is on it. I don't want an image when we're hovering over it. And a regular state, we should still have our image there. Great. Save our changes. Save the row changes. And let's exit our visual builder and see what we've got going on. Okay, let's exit the visual builder. And there's our little round one. That fades into our call to action module there, or our little person module there. And there's our little blurred out edges one, and again does exactly the same thing. And of course you can do these to these as well, and it'll do exactly the same thing. So I hope that's answered your question today, and I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Once again, this has been Jamie from System 22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.